The package bombs hit close to home for the congressman shot last year at a congressional baseball practice. He was in Houston today and talked to Adam Bennett about what needs to happen to move the country forward.
On paper, it was a walk and talk on Harvey recovery with Congressman John Culberson, checking out the widening of Brays Bayou,
the elevation,
and meeting the Otten family, who raised their Maryland home after flood number 3. But after New Orleans area Congressman Steve Scalise talked federal dollars,
y'all were there for us, we're going to be there for you.
Reporters' questions shifted to another topic.
This isn't what America's all about. You know, I'm disturbed by the fact that it's happening over and over again.
The Majority Whip was one of 4 people shot near D.C. in June of last year while practicing with other Republicans for a congressional charity baseball game. A Virginia Commonwealth's attorney ruled that the gunman, who was killed by police, was fueled by rage against Republican legislators.
We all need to tone down the rhetoric, but at the same time, we first should find out the facts before we try to go and assess blame.
a lot of this rhetoric really is counterproductive.
Former CIA Director John Brennan was one of the targets of the pipe bombs, which were also sent to several prominent Democrats and critics of President Donald Trump.
Any acts or threats of political violence are an attack on our democracy itself.
I think President Trump has struck the right tone. If you saw what he said yesterday, he denounced this very clearly.
This morning, President Trump blamed the media for what he calls a very big part of the anger we see today in our society, wherever it's coming from. Congressman Scalise says he hopes people channel that discontent to the ballot box instead of the streets. Adam Bennett, KHOU 11 News.
And we are staying on top of the investigation. You can follow it all on KHOU.com and on the KHOU 11 app.